Ladies and gentlemen, now Layla's mum's arrived, after having been to the gym. Yeah, we're going to start. First of all, on behalf of the trustees, the officers, the volunteers, and Friends of Farsley Rehoboth burial ground, we'd like to thank everybody for coming today. I think we'll have a few people who thought it was 1 o'clock turning up, and I will be quite happy to identify them when they do. But what you're here for, I'm extremely proud, is for the unveiling of Pudsey District Civic Society plaque that they have awarded us and presented to us, which is absolutely beautiful because I've already revealed it. There are going to be two speeches, one from Richard Hainsworth on my left, who I think you will all know as the chairperson and treasurer of Great Power of our charity, and Richard has, I shall say, it's 196 people with his family name buried in the Rehoboth. Richard will then be followed by Pamela Smith, or Pam Smith, Pamela? Either, Pam, right, who has worked over the last 6 months, especially with Paul Hogarth, to make sure that we got the plaque right, to make sure we did the arrangements for today. Afterwards, we'll say again what the options are. So I'm going to hand you over to Richard.
Thank you, John. Can I say my own welcome to the Farsley Rehoboth Baptist Burial Ground. 5 years ago, this graveyard was completely neglected. There were weeds, brambles, the magnificent gates you can see were inaccessible, the key was lost, it couldn't be opened. The only way in was to come through a little footpath the far side there and climb over a lot of graves. Combination of events led to the formation of a group intent on restoring the graveyard. After some difficulty, the charity was formed, funds were raised, and the charity trustees were able to buy the graveyard. Since then, change has been remarkable. Walls have been rebuilt, pathways laid with gravel, dangerous trees lopped, electricity and an internet connection installed. We've had a lavatory, and recently the burial of ashes has started. In addition, which some of you will know, a research group has been able to bring together or bring back to life the background of many of the people who were buried here. All this work has been done by volunteers. It's a remarkable community achievement. Of course, funds have been needed to pay for materials, and we have needed to pay for some specialist help. Otherwise, all the work has been voluntary. Thousands of people hours have been expended to restore this 2-acre site, and work, of course, is still ongoing. I'm pleased Pudsey District Civic Society has chose to recognise this work. My father, who was the last person buried here, was the Society's first president, and the trustees are grateful to the Pudsey District Civic Society for the donations they had made towards our work. So many people have helped to restore the burial ground, but I'm sure you would all want me to name just two, without whom the work would never have happened. They are, of course, John Barker, the secretary, and Francis, his wife, our fundraiser and communications officer. John has kept the show on the road. Without him and his drive and persistence, this restoration would never have happened. I've been coming to this graveyard for 70 years. As many of you know, I have 5 generations of my family dating back to 1769 who have graves here. I'm related to possibly 300 of the 4,000 people buried here. and I think the graveyard is looking better than I've ever known it. So this plaque is to thank everyone, all the many volunteers who've come together to restore the graveyard. It's a paradox to talking about bringing new life to a graveyard, but that's what's happened here, and I'm proud to have played a small part in making it happen. I would now like to hand over to Pam Smith from the Pudsey District Civic Society to say a few words.
Thank you, Richard. I'm not sure I can follow that. I certainly don't have the wealth of history that Richard has to do with the graveyard. And I'm here really representing Pudsey District Civic Society. And it's been a real pleasure to work alongside this project in recent months to get this plaque. And it's given me the opportunity, and I think some others in the Civic Society, to come and have a look at all the work that the volunteers have done under the brilliant leadership of John Barker and his wife Fran. And maybe one or two things I'm going to say actually overlap with Richard, really, because the link with the Pudsey District Civic Society and the Rehoboth is stronger than you might think. Richard, as you've already said, your father is buried here, as well as other members of your family. Your father was the first president of the Pudsey District Civic Society. And our current president, who can't be here, a chap called Jim Humphreys, who lives in Farsley, is a volunteer here. And he's actually booked his plot here already. So we hope it won't be for many, many years to come, but he has booked his slot here. Our current chair is here, Dave Richards. Where are you, Dave? Oh, he's down there. Dave Richards is the chair of Pudsey District Civic Society, and he's here with his wife Susan, and it's actually our 50th year. It was formed in 1974, and it obviously covers this area as well. It's Pudsey and District, and Farsley is very much part of the district. This project, as Richard has said, would not exist without the volunteers, and we do thank you for all the work that you have done. There are one or two very young people here. Very nice to see young people. Young people very often get a very poor press. And we know that two of you at least are helping to serve drinks today, and thank you for volunteering to do that. And we hope that you'll grow up and maybe this will become a very special place for you too. We were hoping to see Councillor Andrew Carter here, but he hasn't arrived. But I do know, and I want to acknowledge the fact that Councillor Carter has actually been extremely supportive of this project, and we do thank him as well. We'd also hoped that James Bowling would attend from the speaker, and there would be a very nice little article, perhaps with a photograph or two in the speaker. That may yet happen, that we may yet be able to arrange that. A couple of other thank yous, really. I'm nearly come to the end, but thank you to John and Fran for organising this event. And I have to say to Leeds Civic Trust as well. Leeds Civic Trust have provided the curtains, they've provided the stand as well for us to borrow, which will be returned via Graham on Tuesday. And I also thank the Leeds Civic Trust as well for the advice and help that they've given us in setting on this event. My biggest thanks comes for the most unassuming, self-effacing man I think I've ever met. It's certainly not John Barker. It's very definitely not John Barker. It's a chap called Paul Hogarth. Paul was charged with sorting out the words. He was sorting out with finding a few words for this plaque, but saying everything. He has to say everything on this plaque in very, very few words. And I couldn't have done it, or we couldn't have done it, you couldn't have done it without Paul, and thank you to him. He's also, who's there? Paul, you've also spent hours working out how to fix the plaque. That in itself is no mean feat, and I thank you. It's been a real pleasure to actually work with you. I thank you all for coming today. It's going to be super. I'm going to hand over to Richard now, and Richard is going to do the honour of pulling the strategic cord. So we hope all goes well, and that you'll take the opportunity of going to have a look at the plaque. Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. That's very effective. Thank you. That's lovely. Thank you very much.
So just tell you what it says. Farsley Rehoboth Baptist Burial Ground. Since the first burial in 1785, more than 4,000 local people, including the fallen from both world wars, have been interred here. Restoration of the graveyard by volunteers commenced in 2019 with the bottom Pudsey District Civic Society.